now going to he's putting together another plan as they're advancing it. And obviously, this is a long book. I'm doing an abridged version, hitting some highlights. Sure. You should get the book. Obviously, get the book. Buy the book. Back to the book. At 0400 hours on 24th of September, Douglas, this is the new company commander, Douglas. Douglas held a long O group by candlelight in the cellar of the farmhouse, at which, much to his annoyance, I kept falling asleep. We were ordered to advance straight eastward down a narrow country lane from the orchard to the main road and consolidate. After the O group, and O group is what they call, like when their officers get together and pass the word, and they call it O group. After the O group, I made myself unpopular by asking why we were advancing towards an area of considerable German opposition when my patrol had found a better route by which we might outflank the enemy. So he's saying, hey, wait, why? Because his platoon had been out on a patrol and found a better route, and he's asking why. And he kind of gets shut down. I was just 20 years old at the time. And even then, I knew I was incapable of disputing orders without giving offense. We started at 0600 hours, 2 platoons leading on either side of the track, the third following in single file down the track itself. On either side were small holdings, a few allotments and bungalows surrounded by small picket fences. The platoons advanced through the gardens and vegetable patches and passed on either side of the bungalows, the rear section searching each one quickly. And while they're searching these little bungalows as they're on patrol, they find this. Back to the book. During one of these hurried searches, one section found a Dutch family, the Wittages, father, mother, son, and daughter, riddled by Schmeitzer fire. That's a German machine gun. They lay in awkward postures of death amid their ransacked home. A visit from the SS? No tears came. Nor did they come a half an hour later when we came upon the charred wreckage of an American Dakota. It had carried U.S. parachute troops of the 82nd Airborne Division, and their torn and burnt bodies littered the orchard like charred and mutilated rag dolls. There was a further irony. Attached to the front window, in what remained of the Dakota's cockpit, was a tiny teddy bear untouched by flames. 2 months before, a lonely teddy bear and an impersonal pool of blood had brought forth tears. Now I was collected and objective when faced, within the span of 30 minutes, with an atrocious murder and mass carnage by fire. And he's referring there in the beginning of the book, one of his first experiences. He's by a slit trench, and there's a dead guy, soldier in it, and there's a little teddy bear. And for some reason, he's young, he's inexperienced, and it makes him super emotional. He starts crying. And now he's a little further in the war. He sees, this horrible murdered family and these tragically burned and killed paratroopers, and he's able to detach emotionally from it. Back to the book. The enemy decided to make life unpleasant for us as possible by sudden, unpredictable concentrations of heavy artillery right in the middle of our company area. We called them stonks. So he's going to use that word. It just means we're getting bombed. One of these shells, unfortunately, fell right into one of 16 platoon slit trenches. No trace remained of the 2 men that were manning a Bren. In my platoon, Lance Corporal Jack Lee and Private Peter Filmer were buried in the trench they shared. Other members of their section quickly dug them out unharmed, very dirty, and remarkably cheerful. The self-propelled guns increased their activities, filling the sky above the company with ugly black airbursts. They could place these with uncanny accuracy to burst about 25 feet above the road junction outside company headquarters. The casualties mounted. Company Sergeant Major Sammy Jones and Spot Martin, the Jeep driver, were both hit outside company HQ. It was Sammy Jones who committed the battalion's only atrocity. Late one summer evening, as the shadows from high trees and hedges fell across a small field in Normandy, we took some young Waffen SS soldiers prisoner. One of them, a short, stocky, and fair youth of about 18, proved insultingly truculent. Seizing the young lout by the scruff of his neck, Sammy roared, "You can take that glint out of your eyes, my boy," and, putting the wretched youth across his knees, he gave his backside a sound whacking. That is legit. And that's, again, Sidney Jary, and he talks about how proud he is that his men's behavior is so upstanding throughout this whole miserable experience. And even when they see atrocities committed like by the SS, they still maintain their discipline and their character. And this is what he does. Oh, you're a little punk kid? Yeah. I'm gonna spank you.
Yep.
Tough little SS soldier getting put over the knee and spanked.